All right, we are back. So, you need more extreme metal music for your library? That's good. I can hook you up in just a few minutes because I too love metal music. And so, welcome back, my friends, for episode 17th. Happy January 19th, 2024. Terry here again with Cast Metal and another Full Metal Review segment where I connect bands with fans like you. I designed the Full Metal Reviews segment to answer only one question, and that is where can I get more metal music? So for this show, I find and review music from my Apple Music account, from the metal section, that is. Then I share a detailed analysis with you. I give you enough details to help you decide if you want to actually listen to it, collect it, and put it in your collection. And in the end, you'll also find out if I'm going to collect it or not. And a bonus at the end of the show, I'm going to dig through my treasure chest and I'll give you a recommended selection as well, just to give you a little thank you for sticking around with me today. Okay, so moving right along, if you like the type of music that's in the slide next to me right here, this is the channel for you, okay? So let's start the Full Metal Review show. So, a quick recap. Yesterday, I reviewed two shorter albums, okay? And one was Alluvial, and the other one was from King Yosef. One an EP, and the other one a single with 2 tracks on it. I added both of them to my library. They were excellent, real, full out death metal, and they were fantastic. So, I wanted to also make a quick announcement. I'm just going to break character here for a moment. I was looking through all of my metal selections for the weekend and the new releases coming. It seems that the number of new releases in January are kind of trickling in. And not only are they trickling in, but there's a lot of singles and there's a lot of EPs being released. They're very short. And so, what I've decided to do, quite possibly over the next week, is I'm going to break it up and I'm going to go back in time through 2023 this weekend and possibly all for the next week until the number of real fresh new releases for January matures. I'm going to dig through 2023 again and try and find a whole bunch of real choice select stuff to review and share with you. 2023 wasn't that far off, so I think it would probably be a really good idea. So, with that said and done, moving ahead, today I am going to review a new album by RYUJIN. They are a Japanese metal band, and they have like an incredible variation of sounds, okay, within them. So, first off, every Sunday from the metal category on Apple Music, I catalog all the newest albums and I track it on a database and then I post it to my Facebook page. It's called Metal Magazine Facebook page. And so moving ahead here, the rules for Full Metal reviews is one, I review all albums without a preview. Two, I try to avoid lives or singles. Three, not everything will make it into my library. Not everything is to my liking. But I won't knowingly badmouth anybody because all of these artists are extremely talented. And quite frankly, I've never learned how to play a guitar or sing or anything. I'm simply a fan just like you. I'll say that again and again. So, our band bio. I I find the bio on the band after I do the review. Okay, so this is actually the final part, and I'm reading it first. So, RYUJIN is from Hokkaido, Japan. They were formed in 2009. They have currently 6 releases on Apple Music and are considered a symphonic, melodic, death, and power metal with folk metal in it. I've never, honestly, I don't recollect ever hearing folk metal before, but I'm about to. So, before listening to the album, I did an overview and a first impression and a process check. And remember, whatever the outcome of this review, please take the time to actually consider downloading it and streaming it and listening to this album for yourself, as with all the albums that I recommend to. Quite frankly, after I've introduced this album, my job is done. The review is basically just for entertainment purposes afterwards, and it also helps you make a good decision. So, the overview, in the same way I would unbox a product online on YouTube, for example, to show you. I opened up the page and I saw that there were 12 adequately titled tracks for a Japanese metal band. The album cover artwork, as you can see, is Japanese cultural origin with traditional Chinese fonts. And frankly, today, for the first time, I have no actual idea what I'm in for. So my first impression or prediction before I play any album, I try my best to visualize any outcome. I always think positive, but in this case, I think that I'm in for something rangy and technical, because I have heard Japanese music before, like baby metal, and they seem to thrive on this accuracy type, the accurate music. Okay, very technical, if I may. And so I would say that they are either thrash or melodic death metal. And again, this was said before the bio. So I'll compare my visions to the review's results afterwards. Okay. So my 4-part checklist starts with a 10-track page review, complete album description, review page, individual performance review page, and finally a summary review page. Okay. So as I went through each song, remember, I only use numbers in the tracks because sometimes I can't pronounce the names. In this case here, the names are quite Japanese, so I can't even begin to pronounce them. So I use numbers in all of my descriptions to avoid mispronunciation. And that's it. Let's go. Okay, so track number 1, the opening track, is a short 40-second dramatic instrumental, which is probably a fitting opener for the second track. The second track opens with thrashing, furious guitars, fry vocals, and drums with superb accuracy, fast and brutal with oriental sounds blended in. Track number 3, it's a mysterious, melodic, metal-based track with nice harmonies and good rhythm. Track number 4, oddly enough, track 4 has a Celtic and folk overtone, which is what they were talking about in the bio. They have those overtones embedded within fast technical metal. Track number 5 opens with a 2/4 beat. It's a more basic song which has traditional vocals and is more rock than metal. That's what I found. Track number 6, it's a rangy number with fry vocals to traditional style vocals. This piece is excellent in percussions, rhythms, and solos. It's kind of quirky. Track number 7, it returns to a fast and furious melodic death metal style with a stylish chorus, actually. Track number 8, it's a deeper, heavier, yet melodic track with fantastic technical guitar and solo work. And it's got really fast, accurate drumming. Track number 9. Track number 9 is actually just a big, bright ballad. It was in contrast. It was nice to hear a break from the action. Track number 10, final. There's 12 tracks on the album, but I only reviewed 10 here. Track number 10 it's an explosive, rangy, melodic, raw metal track with emphasis on, we'll say, on dramatic harmonies. Okay. In summary, throughout the whole album, you can expect Japanese cultural feel with every track. And again, for me, it's very hard to describe. Okay. All right. So during listening, the overall description, And sound quality was clear and full. The production and musicality, it had a raw sound, yet there seems to be a level of work that suggests that they do have a producer or they're working with a team. The energy and intensity was very positive energy throughout. It wasn't a dark album or anything like that. The rhythm and tempo, it had good rhythms sprinkled in with very accurate harmonies. Lyrical theme, it had a mystical earth feeling. Apple categorizes this as metal, and I think it's melodic and with symphonic elements. And I'm unsure what genre to call it because it's so diverse, but maybe some death or even thrash metal in it because of some of the tracks were just absolutely running at a blinding speed. The prediction is, could they go mainstream like on the radio? I don't think that that's where they're heading, so I will say no. The range and flow of the album itself, it came in waves. It was up and down, so I didn't know what to expect from track to track. Who are they similar to? They're very unique, but I can sense American metal influences, we'll just say. They are a quirky band like System of a Down, but with no similarities. System of a Down is just a very different band, and so are these guys. Individual performance description for each artist. The singing and vocalization was a mix of fry and traditional male vocals. Guitaring is a complete package of traditional electric guitar sounds, and the solo and rhythm work are outstanding. Bass guitar was bubbly and a match for the percussions for sure. And finally, the drums and percussions they were just blazing fast, accurate as I would expect with Oriental musicians. And sorry, there's also some additional sounds too. It was sprinkled throughout the entire album. You can tell it's a Japanese cultural sample. And there actually was some folk stuff in there too. I think I'd mentioned that earlier. So, in summary, now that I've listened to the entire album, I really had no idea what to predict at first. They are just different. And so I'm still kind of dumbfounded as to where they stand. But in the bio, you see that they encompass 4 or 5 or 6 different genres. That's their claim. So my favorite tracks were 2 and 3. Emotionally, was there any chills or goosebumps or anything? Quite frankly, I wasn't feeling it. Okay, it was a good album and the music was great. It was just, but it just didn't do a whole bunch for me that way. Uh, if I had to compare it to a favorite food, I would call it a sushi sample plate with 20 different kinds of sushi on it for us to try out. Tonality shades, light or dark. It was on the lighter side, on the positive side. The colors, I would say that the music resembles earth tones like browns and greens. But the temperature, out of hot or cold, I would say it was warm. Hide it from my wife? No, I think that she might be intrigued by this. And finally, is it going into my library? No, it is not going into my library, but it could go into your library. Please make sure that you do try it. It just didn't. It just didn't do it for me, to be very honest with you. But the musicianship is right there, and they're very talented. So my hat's off to them. So okay, that's it for another episode of Full Metal Reviews. And oh yeah, okay, so it's bonus time as promised. I dig through my treasure chest here on my trusty phone. And I'm going to send your way. How about the latest? It came out in the springtime. It's from a band called Unearth, and the album is called The Wretched and the Ruinous, and it's a hot album. I see a lot of people raving about it in groups. I think that you guys might like it. Unearth as a real uh, expressive, powerful death metal, but they have more traditional sounding guitars and not the higher, the more modern guitars with 7 or 8 strings or whatever. So yeah, they're more of an original sound, and they are super heavy, and the whole album is a complete banger from beginning to end. So that sounds about right. I'll send that your way. So that's it for today, my friends. Remember to support your favorite metal artists. Please stream them, buy the merch, go see them live if you can. Join me again soon for another episode of Full Metal Reviews. Please, if you can, subscribe and set those notifications, just like the sign here says. And we will see you tomorrow. You guys all have a great Friday evening. Thank you.